Welcome to Engineering Mathematics 1, August 2023 past paper. Okay, so even this one, I'm going to solve the whole past paper for August 2023 Engineering Mathematics 1. For the second year's Engineering Mathematics 2, I was solving May 2023. But for you guys who are in first year's Engineering Mathematics 1, I'll be solving the August 2023. So I'm going to post the same past paper so that at least you should be verifying where the questions are coming from. Or if you have a past paper, that's good for you. Otherwise, I'm going to post the same past paper so that at least each and every question that I'm going to be solving, you're supposed to be verifying to say, okay, this is the question which it's been read about. Okay, so if you're not clear about my explanation, or if you're not clear about my solvings, please feel free to comment in the comment section. Once I try by all means to go through the comment section, I find your comment, I would be trying by all means to reply, or trying by all means to come up with a video which can help you make you understand where you didn't understand. Otherwise, I wish you all the best, guys, in your exams which you're going to write next month in December. Those ones who are writing promo exams, even other guys who are doing the supplementary, all the best, guys. Otherwise, we are here to help each other. So the first question reads, question 1. This is August. This is August 2023. Yeah, math 1. So the question reads, first question, question 1. Question 1A. Okay, so the question reads, the first term of a geometric progression is 12, and the fifth term is 55. Determine the 8th term and the 11th term. So we are supposed to determine the 8th term and the 11th term. So how do we determine these two terms which have been mentioned in our question? So this is how we determine. First, let's consider the data that we've been given in our question. Remember, when you're dealing with arithmetic progression or geometric progression, in this case, we are dealing with GP, the geometric progression. But if you are dealing with geometric progression, always the first term is being labeled as an A. This is the first term being given. Either in arithmetic progression or geometric progression, we do use A as our first term. And in this case, our first term we've been given that it is what? It is 12. Okay. This is our first term, 12. Then the question continues, and the fifth term is 55. The fifth term, meaning the fifth, that's our nth being given in our question. So since it is the fifth, meaning our nth, this n, is being represented by 5, which is our fifth term. This n is being represented as in 5, which is our fifth term. So in our formula, where there is n, we're going to be substituting with 1. With 5. So when you substitute with 5, meaning the nth term, the fifth term, or the fifth term, it is 55. But if you substitute here with 1, as in the nth term being given as 1, you're not supposed to use 55 but 12. What I mean is, here is the formula. The formula for the GP geometric progression, it is the first term given, you multiply by the ratio raised to power n minus 1. So this is the formula for geometric progression. So this is the formula that we do use under geometric progression. The first term given, you multiply by the ratio times raised to power n minus 1. Remember that the ratio, it is the one which is being raised to n minus 1, not the first term, no. But the ratio, it is the one which is being raised to what? N minus 1. So the ratio, this one is the common ratio. R is being represented as in the common ratio. So if you want to use the first term, meaning you're not going to be solving anything. What I mean is, the question says determine the 8th term and the 11th term. Here, our main idea that what we are supposed to do is trying by all means to come up with what? With the common ratio, because we are not given the common ratio and we don't know the common ratio. So this is where our main focus is supposed to be. So how can you come up with the common ratio? Okay, so looking at the data that we've been given, we have our nth term, and we have our nth term and the term being given. So for example, if you want to use a 12 using this formula, what is our first term? Our first term we've been given that it is 12. So you have your 12 here. What is the common ratio? We don't know. That's R. What is our nth term? If you use a 12, they say the question says the first term, meaning it will be 1 minus 1, because this is the first term being given. You have something like this. Now it will be equals to what? You don't know. You get? So now, since you have this one as in the first term of the question, you have the not of the question, so but you have this one as your first term, and you have nth term being given. Why can't you get the first term that you've been given here? You write your first term here, which is 12. The common ratio you don't know. What is our nth term? What is our nth term? Our nth term is what? We've been given that we use 5 minus 1. Then this one, which is equals to what? To 55, because that's what the question says. The question says that the first term that we've been given under geometric progression is 12. And the fifth term is equals to what? 55. Simple. The term being given here, it is what? It is 12. And the fifth term being given is equals to what? 55. That's what the question says. This is what the question says. What next? Since we have this data here, what are we supposed to do next? This one, we can do the calculations here. What is 12 minus, what is 5 minus 1? That's 4. So you can have your 12 here. Don't forget your R. And R is the one carrying the 5 minus 1. 5 minus 1, that's 4. Is equals to 55. When you reach this stage, what next? You divide through out by 12. Also here by 12, you cancel. So you have your R is equals to 12 into 55. You can do your calculations here. Sorry, R raised to power 4. Don't forget the power. Sorry. R raised to power 4 is equals to this one. What is, here is the calculator. Okay, so what is 12 into 55? You can divide because you have here as in 4. R raised to power 4. So whatever you're going to find here, I'm going to give you this strategy. We have R raised to power 4. So whatever answer we're going to get here, when we divide it direct, it's paper 1 and they do allow, it's engineering mathematics 1, and they do allow us to go at, to enter an exam with a calculator. So all the calculations that we're supposed to be making here, they're supposed to be, you're not supposed to be calculating using your minds. No, use the calculator. Because like in the, for example, in this case, you cannot just use your mind to say, no, 12 into 55 goes how many times. Of course, you can calculate, 12 into 55, blah, blah, come up, but it's not possible for you just to come up with points and likes. So just try by all means to divide direct. What is 12 into 55 on the calculator? You have your 55, you divide it by 12. You have 4.583. I'll write this. I have my 4.583 and 3 here. You have this as your answer. Then what next? What are you supposed to do? I have R raised to power 4, this one. So why R raised to power 4 is equals to 4.5833. What are we supposed to do? What next? If I introduce a square root here, if I introduce a square root here, meaning here they're supposed to be R squared, but it is R raised to power 4. Why can't I double this? I have 2 square roots. The answer that I get again, I put it in the square root. What I mean is this. You have your 4.5833. If you do your square root here, you have 2.41. So meaning this one I have 2.141, sorry, yeah. So I can write here, I have my R raised to power 2 now, because this, it was R raised to power 4. So once I put this answer into the square root, this 4 is going to be reduced. Remember how we do cancel the square root? It is by introducing the square. So if you have something like this, you have R raised to power 2 is equal, if it was something like this, R raised to power 2 is equals to 4.5833. When you introduce a square here, also here, when you introduce a square root here, also here you're supposed to introduce a square root, meaning a square and a square root goes, you're going to remain with R. But in this case, it was R raised to power 4. So I introduced a square root here. The first is square root, even here. So when you cancel this one, meaning here you're going to remain with R2, which is this one here. So it was supposed to be R2 is equals to the answer now, which that we have found, which is 2.141. You have something like this. Again, you introduce your square root. Also, your square root you cancel, meaning the square and the square root goes. So we're going to remain with R is equals to. So this one, when you put it in the into the square root, you're going to have 1.4632. So we're going to have 1.4632, meaning you have your ratio. This is the ratio that you have calculated. But remember, the question doesn't say, the question actually doesn't demand for us to come up with the ratio, no. But the question says determine the 8th term and the 11th term. The main reason why we have to come up with the common ratio is to make the formula complete, because we're going to have the first term being given, which is 12, the common ratio, which is 1.4632, the nth term, because in this case the question says you're supposed to calculate what to determine the 8th term. So where there is n here, we're going to replace it with 8, and it becomes simple for us to solve. So whenever you're given a question under geometric progression, arithmetic progression, try by all means to come up with all the pairs. What I mean is, try by all means to come up with all the variables. Like in this case, you have your A, your R, and your N. This is supposed to be complete, so that when it comes to substituting, it's just direct, minus you start thinking to say, what am I supposed to do, and the likes. Okay, so the next step, we are going now to substitute. We are going to substitute now into the equation given. Okay, so we are going to substitute into our equation given. So now the into our equation given. So now the equation, it says, sorry, that was such big wind. Okay, so now the question says determine the 8th term and the 11th term. So the 8th term that we're supposed to determine, we go back to the formula. It is AR raised to power n minus 1. What is our the first term being given? It is what? It is 12. What is our ratio, common ratio being given? It is 1.4632. What is our nth term? It is 8 minus 1. Okay, so here to be 12 open bracket 1.4632. Please follow the steps of mathematics, follow the rules of math. You're not supposed to be doing shortcuts. You start multiplying. What is 12 times 1.4 minus you coming up with the answer here. So you're supposed to to solve this one first, deal with the powers first, then that's when you start now following the board mass. So here, what is 8 minus 1? That's 7. So 7 is supposed to come here, and this one is supposed to be raised to power 7, then that's when you multiply with 12. Okay, so what I mean is it will be 12 open bracket. Now this one, what is 1 point here? What is 1.4632 raised to power 7? You're going to have 14.3591. Then when you multiply this one now by 12, you're going to have 172. So your final answer is supposed to be 172.31. So this was our 8th term. So this one was our 172.31 is our 8th term. 8th, yeah, eighth term. So it's supposed to be H here, TH, yeah, something like this, 8th term. Okay, it's not English. So 172.31 is our 8th term. Okay, so that's how we solve it. And we go to the next question, which is the 11th term. So we do the same thing. Our first term is 12 open bracket 1.4632. You close, so it will be 11 minus 1. So here it is 12 open bracket 1.4632 raised to power 10. So here, what is 1.4632 power 10? 1.4632 raised to power 10, you're going to have 44. So we're going to have 44.44 982. When you multiply this by 12, you're going to have 539. 539.782 becomes our 11th term. Is the 11th term. Okay, so this becomes your final answer. So this is how we do it. Nothing like, what am I supposed to do? You're not supposed to be thinking too much. Okay, what if you reach this stage here? You reach here, this stage, then you multiply what is 12, what is 12 by 1.4632, then you raise power 7. This is what I mean. 12 by 1.4632, you have this, then raised power 7. Have you seen what you are getting? So you are supposed to follow step by step. Don't try by all means to rush. No, I'll multiply, then the answer that I'll get, it will be raised power. No. 12 is not raised power. 12 is not into the 1.46. The 1.46, this one is the common ratio, and it is the one carrying the power. Like what I said, the common ratio, which is R, it is the one carrying this power, which is n minus 1. Not A. This one, not the first term. No. So when it comes to solving, go step by step. Do first with the power. That's when you multiply. Now you start following the body mass. Do first with the power, follow the body mass. Okay, I hope it's clear. We proceed to the next question. What's happening?